guys, welcome. So we've come into a new room in my house today because this is the only one I have that doesn't have windows. And I can get it completely dark in here. So we've come here today because we're exploring UV light. So I have a few things. First, I have some glasses to protect my eyes from the UV light that I will be using. And I have various things here in the room with me as well to show you. Just a little disclaimer at first. While some of these things might look a little odd to find in a room in my house, I am going to tell you that everything I'm using is liquid Tide, so this doesn't actually exist. But so the room is going to get dark. I'm going to go ahead and cut the lights. That way we can start exploring some things with the UV light. Here, so I'm going to protect my eyes, hit the lights. And first I'm going to start by just turning on my UV light and showing you some interesting things and ways that the UV light might be used in forensics. So the first thing that you might have noticed when I started talking is on the wall here behind me, I do have images. These are things that I've painted. They might not be done well, but if you can see here, in this image here, you can see how the pink paint in the image fluoresces. So the pink paint is the only thing in that image that is fluorescing. There are no colors in the second image that shine. But over here in this one, you can see that, I'm not sure if you can exactly see it's the pink, but all of the pink in the trees and along the pathway in this image fluoresce quite differently from this one, which does not. Another thing that I have for you, you might have seen a glimpse of it already, is I've created a handprint here on the wall. So in forensic science, oftentimes the UV light is used to find various bodily fluids, including blood. If this was blood, it would require a different chemical to be sprayed on it before the UV light actually works. But here you can see a handprint in what could potentially be a bodily fluid, but in this case is actually liquid Tide. So this is why UV light is used as a presumptive test at crime scenes, because while this could be blood or bodily fluid, it could also be something like the liquid Tide that I have used here as well. So if I shine this down onto the ground here, I have also, let's see if we can tilt our camera down here, on the mat on my floor, I've also put some droplets. So you can see there when I shine the UV light on the mat, we can see some droplets of what could have potentially been blood or bodily fluid. In this case, again, it's just liquid Tide, but we can see it fluorescing. I've also have some drops along the walls here. Again, these things could be bodily fluid, they could be soaps, or in the case of the knob that you're seeing there, it's just the type of material that is used. Other things that UV light can be used to identify are various rocks and minerals, which in our class we're getting quite familiar with. But here is one rock that glows, fluoresces under the UV light. I have another one here as well. And these look quite boring without the UV light, but here we can see that it glows. And I think one of my favorites is this little one. And just how red that is. It's hard to... Here you can also see where I did use the liquid Tide on my hands. You can see the substance on my hands fluorescing, like around my nails. The UV light can also be used to identify various fibers. So in this case, it can be used on the hands, but it could also be used on clothing to locate fibers. Again, if I pull up my mat here, I could shine the UV light along the mat. See, there's a fiber. We can use this to locate various fibers. This can be done on clothing or even along the body. So if you have there's a dead body, sometimes the medical examiners will use the UV light to shine on the body, because in this case, this could be maybe someone had left spit or any other bodily fluid on my hand, and we could sample it. Maybe we can't see it without the UV light, so it tells us, hey, here's something there to sample. It could be used the same for any hair or fiber that you could find on the body. So that leaves me with one last question for you all, and I will remind you that this was in the backdrop when we began, and it was not noticeable, but this is going to leave me with a question for you. So on your sheet, after you watch this video, please answer the questions that go along with it, but also answer this question. Why can you read this? So why can you read this? And again, this was in the backdrop prior to the video, written on the wall. So you answer the questions that go with this video and also that question. Thanks again.